Welcome to the Little League Softball World Series presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Well, we hope day 2 provides more hospitable weather in Greenville, North Carolina. Because of the rain yesterday, we have some breakfast ball. Now, this game was supposed to be played last night at around, what does that say, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Well, Mother Nature laughed and mocked us and said, no, you're going to play 14 hours later. So the girls getting up this morning around 7 a.m., warming up, waking up, getting ready for a day-long extravaganza of softball as the host region, North Carolina, takes on Canada. Now, this tournament divided into 2 brackets, orange and purple. This is the second game of the purple bracket. Florida run-ruled Washington before the rains came. They'll face Italy this afternoon. The winner of this game will face Texas. Fans in Greenville getting their money's worth today, although admission is free. 5 games today. Puerto Rico and Japan squaring off in our second game. A day-long softball palooza here in North Carolina. And we're thrilled to get it started here. Matt Schick along with Jenny Dalton-Hill. And Jenny, as I said, these 2 teams were scheduled to play the nightcap last night. Game gets delayed because of weather. Had to wake up bright and early.
And this makes it difficult, right? They were here at the ballpark late last night, having to get here about 7 o'clock this morning to be ready for the 9 a.m. start. So we're looking at buns and bagels and donuts and dingers this morning.
I like that. You've stolen all of the lines before we've even started. Let's start here with the international flavor that we are going to have in this tournament this morning. On-field Little League from Quebec, Repentigny, Quebec. It's their 3rd consecutive year making it to Greenville.
When they were able to beat Alberta twice, going undefeated in that regional, making it here to the World Series. An exciting time for this ball club.
Trying to turn things around for Canada. They've lost 16 of their last 17 World Series games. About 900 miles they had to travel. Their opponent today traveled about 90 minutes from a suburb of Raleigh. It is a Johnston County Little League, making it here for the first time.
Well, an exciting time for them. They were able to score 93 runs through a district and state and didn't allow another run. And so when it comes down to it, this is a team that's swinging it really well and needs to stay hot. They have not played since the beginning of July.
Started softball in 2023. 3 years later, here they are competing for a World Series crown. Coming up, we'll meet the teams. We'll set the stage for a day-long deluge of softball. First pitch of the first of 5 games. The Little League Softball World Series is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. We had a few teams advance yesterday. 5 more teams today looking to affix their stickers to the giant bracket outside of right field here at Elm Street Park at Stallings Stadium. And here's a look at those teams. 12 different teams, 8 American teams that have traveled a combined nearly 24,000 miles here to Eastern North Carolina. And Team Canada and North Carolina adding to those miles. North Carolina just 90 of those miles, thereabout. And here's a look at today's first opponent. It is Quebec, Canada, on-field Little League, where they speak mostly French in the home province of Celine Dion. Our heart will go on, but before, let's meet him.
Hi, my name is Olivia Collard, and my favorite celebrity is Justin Bieber.
Hi, my name is Isabella Crystal Deschênes, and my favorite food is spaghetti.
My name is Olivia Puga, and my favorite softball player is Sam Landry. My name is Charlie Ross Bouchard, and my favorite singer is Bad Bunny.
Bonjour, mon nom est Olivia Hardy, et ma nourriture préférée est les tacos.
Mon nom est Cassie Pessir, et ma célébrité préférée est M&M.
Hi, my name is Billy Le Breton, and my favorite sports team is the Montreal Canadiens.
My name is Lena Pele, and my dream job is a lawyer.
My name is Alexia Parent, and my favorite band is Imagine Dragons.
Hi, my name is Eva Benoit, and my favorite celebrity is The Rock with his friend Kevin Hart.
Hello, my name is Alice Joannette. My favorite athlete is Yerico Junior.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Sophie Lemieux, et ma célébrité préférée est Sia.
There's our team from Quebec and Repentigny, Quebec. A team that just played 2 games in the regional, were able to take down Alberta to get here.
They were dominant in that performance, didn't lose at all, and we're looking to see the top of the lineup set up a lot of base runners to be able to put the middle of the lineup in that power situation and drive some runs in. And
they will face Catherine Utek, who will be in the circle here, the 12-year-old. Her dad is one of the assistant coaches here, Daniel Utek, and favorite player Skylar Wallace, coming off a 10-strikeout complete game shutout in the state tournament.
I'm going to say Skylar Wallace, one of my favorite players too. She plays for the Bandits, which is my team in the AUSL. But when we expect to see Utek in the circle, she's a pitcher that's been dominant. She struck out 10 in a 2-hit performance against Blue Ridge, and she's one of those players that has been so good down the stretch, but broke her hand in March, and so has been battling that injury, coming back, and now about 80% of her strength. They're expecting to see some big things out of her in the circle today.
An early wake-up call for these young ladies. After a couple of lengthy rain delays yesterday, pushed us back just a little bit. So 5 games scheduled today. And we begin with the girl they call Cha-Cha, Charlie Ross Bouchard, leading things off for Canada. She will be playing second base today, also dabbles in catcher. And the first pitch from Utek. Ball. Outside, 1-0.
And early on in a game, you're, as a pitcher, trying to establish what the zone is, but also a patient hitter at the top gives the dugout a chance to see all of the pitches that are being thrown by the circle. So sometimes you'll see that leadoff hitter take a lot more pitches and really work a count.
Corners creeping in here. 2-0. Repentigny, Quebec, on-field Little League, its 3rd consecutive World Series appearance, the first international team to do that since the Philippines streak ended just a couple of years ago. The 2-0. 3 straight balls from Utek.
And while it may be an early start, right now you're trying to settle your heart rate in the circle. Make sure that you focus in on the zone, not try to throw too hard, but also just fill the zone with strikes and allow your defense to play.
And that ball is high. 4 straight balls, and catcher Kingsley Godwin says, let's go out and talk about this. It's something about the first inning in these games. As we take a look at Ben Catarazzoli, 16 of the 31 runs scored in this tournament have come in the first inning.
And I think a lot of that has to do with just being in a new environment where you're maybe struggling with some nerves early on. But teams have come out very aggressive in the first inning, swinging on the strike zone.
Olivia Puga, shortstop for Team Canada. See how much they're taking here, and that's 5 straight balls. Back pick, nice back up there by Robinson and Wright.
And in Little League, you're not allowed to slide head first, but you can come back into a bag head first.
5 straight balls from Catherine Utek to open up this game.
Ball.
Puga looks at the 6th consecutive ball, and this has got to be take all the way here, right?
I think in this situation, as a coach, you should be putting the take on until Utek shows that she can fill the zone with strikes.
And there it is. After 6 straight balls, a strike from Utek. Remember, this is the first game they've played since July 9th. They did not play in a regional as the host state. They get the winner of the state championship gets an automatic bid, bypassing regionals. The 2-1.
Ball.
And that timeout that was called by Kinsley Godwin, I really appreciate, because it shows leadership back behind the dish for her pitcher, who had been struggling a little bit to find the zone consistently. And so that leadership back behind the plate is a really important part of the game.
8 of the first 9 pitches from Catherine Utek have missed the strike zone. And now the 3-hole hitter, Olivia Collard. As we look at Ben Caterizoli, who sports the toothpick and will be having that throughout the tournament. Says he does that to prevent himself from chirping at the umpires.
And calming his nerves. Let's give him some credit.
Could all use a few toothpicks.
Ball.
I just appreciate you take yours out before we go on air.
And then once we're off camera, it is back in. A little instruction there from home plate umpire Keith Ludwig.
Well, you're also seeing some manipulation of the timing of the pitcher in the circle. This Canadian team is taking their time getting into the box, communicating with the third base coach, and really kind of disrupting the rhythm of Utek out in the circle. And so she separated her hand and created an illegal pitch situation. So it will be a ball added to the count.
And again, re-educate listeners and viewers on that rule.
You just have to make sure that you approach the pitcher's plate with the ball outside of the glove. So hands apart, or if the ball's in the glove, your hand can't be in the glove. So hands apart as you approach the pitching plate. And then if you need to call time, you call time before you step off, but she continues to step to the pitcher's plate with hands together and then bring her hands apart without delivering the pitch.
So that's an automatic ball, and now a strike here. It's 2-1. Here's another look.
Sometimes what happens is she's taking her hands together to the pitcher's plate, and the umpire tried to explain what it was, but in that moment had to call the illegal pitch, add the ball to the count, so we sit at 2-1.
And the bunt is down, and that's going to be fair. And the throw there by Utek. First ball put in play here. Does the job and moves the runners to in scoring position as Olivia Collard with the sacrifice bunt.
It is really important to be able to put that ball in play. You're sitting in the part of the lineup where typically you see some big bats, but when we talked to Oswald Penlay, he talked about how he is not afraid to use the short game in any situation. All of his players are willing to put down the bunt, sacrifice themselves, and now 2 runners in scoring position for Canada.
Lena Pelé, daughter of the head coach.
Ball.
Tight strike zone here to start this day as we look at the coach who they call Ozzy. Ozzy Guillen was his idol, so Oswaldo doesn't mind the nickname Ozzy. The 1-0 to play.
Well, you finally got a batter that's a little bit taller, so the strike zone is a little bit bigger now as Pele stands into the box.
The 1-1. Pele fouls this one into this crowd. 1-2. Pele, one of a handful of players here on this team that play baseball as well. What's the benefit of playing baseball on the side?
Well, their coach talked about how probably about half of this team played baseball before softball, and some of them are playing at the same time. And he talked about how the benefit of that is at this age, the boys are starting to get stronger and a little bit faster than the girls. And with that, the girls have to play more aggressively and be a little bit more smart to outthink the boys in the game. And so that aggression has now lent its way into the game of softball as they play the game a little bit harder now after having that baseball competition as well.
The 1-2. Pele, that one just skirting foul, and pro baseball on the girls' side, beginning here in America as well.
It did just this week, first game of the WPBL. And there's pro baseball over in Japan for the female athlete, but right now, just bringing it back after 70 years to the United States.
The 1-2 to Pele. Pele smokes this one to left, and it gets by the left fielder Mortensen. Rounding third is Ross Bouchard. That's the second run of the game, and a stand-up double there for Pele. $2-0 Canada.
That ball was completely smoked left, right in a beautiful hitting zone for Pele, and she unleashes on this ball. Short hops the left fielder, Parker Mortensen, and because of that, it gets by her, gets past her out there in left field. And with all of the rain that we've had, the outfield grass is very wet. It's going to be hard to get a hard, firm throw in from the outfield because of that wet grip.
Well, it's been since July 9th since they last played. It's been never since they've allowed a run here in the postseason. The first 2 runs they have allowed, the first deficit they have faced, including districts and states. And now Elise Jonette with another runner in scoring position.
Ball.
Ross misses outside.
And so those early miscues come back to haunt UTEC in the circle. Those first 2 walks are what actually came around to score. And so being unable to find the strike zone early has really put North Carolina on their heels.
The 1-1 to Jonette.
Ball.
Elise Jonette, multi-sport athlete, competes in basketball and hockey as well. Collects those sports cards on top of it. The 2-1.
Really nice spot down in the zone, and I think that's where UTEC's been trying to live. She doesn't want to bring the ball up. That's the pitch that brought the big hit to Pele, and so for her, she knows that she needs to leave the ball down to create those ground balls for her infield.
The 2-2. Off speed, got Jonette for a big strikeout. 2 down.
Beautiful changeup, bringing that in, getting the early swing. UTEC finally starting to find her rhythm. Good spin up in the zone, but way ahead of it. You can tell that Jonette did not want to have to miss that ball. Already with 2 strikes on her, she was way ahead. Swing and miss. First strikeout for UTEC on the day.
Brings up Billy Le Breton, 13-year-old first baseman for Team Canada. She learned to bunt and slap this season. You could see the slap approach on that first swing. As third baseman Chloe Braddock going to chat with UTEC in the circle. Ball gets past the catcher and another 60 feet for Pele.
So
wild pitch there for UTEC.
it's difficult to be able to rein those pitches in, and while UTEC doesn't throw a rise ball, she's been using that screwball, and it seems to be getting away from her up in the zone.
The 1-1 to Le Breton.
Ball.
And that's one. Another one gets by Godwin in the third run of the game for Team Canada.
So miscues in the circle continue to plague North Carolina, a team that you already mentioned, Matt, did not give up a run in districts or state, has not played a competitive game since July 9th.
Godwin a little shaken up there.
Yeah.
19 of the 34 runs scored in the first inning. 3 today. 2-2.
And while you don't like that run scoring from third base, it actually takes all the pressure off. You're sitting down 3 runs, but with bases empty, right now UTEC can just attack this hitter, try to get her team back in the dugout.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Catherine UTEC, but not before 3 come home in the first.
I mean, the changeup really coming into play in the last 2 batters, but all the emotion is on the side of Canada as they score 3 in the top half of the first.
Team Canada has pushed 3 runs across on 1 hit. Let's meet North Carolina trying to match it.
My name is Parker Morrison, and my favorite TV show is Outer Banks. My name is Sophie Catterzoli, and my favorite artist is Elle Langley. My name is Katie Stropp. My favorite musical is The Greatest Showman.
My name is Anna Clark, and my favorite candy is Nerds Gummy Clusters.
My name is Campbell Swearingen, and my dream job is to be a marine biologist.
My name is Catherine Utek, and my favorite movie is Descendants.
My name is Abby Robinson, and my favorite sports team is the Carolina Blaze.
My name is Emma Riccio, and my favorite celebrity is Kevin Hart.
My name is Belle Cox, and my favorite video game is Roblox.
My name is Peyton Bustamante, and my favorite emoji is the pink heart.
My name is Kinsley Gowan, and my favorite athlete is Reese Atwood.
Hi, my name is Scarlett Serta, and my favorite food is spaghetti.
My name's Chloe Braddock, and my favorite song is Purple Rain.
Now, they've been raining runs in the postseason, 93 runs combined in districts and in state. They could use a few more today.
I'm circling Chloe Braddock in my lineup. She's got power to all fields and was that one player who qualified for a Team USA event, but chose to be here at the Little League World Series because of the connections that she's made with these friends.
And they will be facing the ace of this staff, Livia Ardi, 13-year-old. Was terrific in regional, struck out 12. She won both championship games, 22 combined strikeouts in the 2 games.
And she definitely fills the zone with a lot of strikes. Fastball, screwball, changeup, and off speed. She throws low 50s, 52 to 55. And when that changeup works well, that's the pitch that will be the difference maker for her today.
Catterzoli looks at a ball, 2-0. And there is no chalk to chalk being called here. This is, you're on the plate, you get a strike. Catterzoli.
Ball.
3-0.
And I would say a good zone is not necessarily a small zone. A good zone for a hitter and a pitcher is a consistent zone. So as long as this zone stays consistent throughout the game, I am 100% on board.
Not getting that strike call, and 4 straight balls here to start the first inning.
Looks like both pitchers having a little bit of an issue trying to find the zone early in this ball game.
Kinsley Godwin, the catcher here for North Carolina. Showing bunt, pulls it back, wild pitch, another 60 feet.
That's the kind of pressure you need to put on this team. Sitting in a 3-run deficit, if anything, you've got to be able to take advantage of those miscues, put yourself in scoring position, and give yourself a chance to continue to chip away at this lead.
First strike of the game here for Artie. Swings at one that might have been out of the zone.
It's always that pitch up in the zone that looks so sweet to hit, and it's typically at the letters or out of the strike zone. It's hard to lay off that pitch up, especially as a power hitter.
Ball.
Ladies off the off speed, 2-2. Kinsley Godwin, coach is saying that when you see those AUSL or Women's College World Series players and they show pictures of them in Little League, I envision Kinsley showing those pictures in the future when she's at that level. That one just misses, full count.
Well, and Godwin is a player that was actually able to play high school ball this last year as a 7th grader. So for her, she's had some high-level competition already under her belt.
That one laced down the left field line into left field. Catarazzoli scores easily. Godwin into second base. And an RBI double. It's 3-1.
We knew that North Carolina had big bats. We just didn't know if they were going to be tempered by that 3-run deficit. But already within 2 batters, they've chipped away and gotten one back with a huge hit by Kinsley Godwin. That ball was roped down that left field line, past the left fielder. I mean, that one so sharply hit. Not enough time for the third baseman, Kolar, to be able to even make a play.
And Chloe Braddock, very dangerous player, now in the 3-hole. As you mentioned, qualified for the prestigious USA softball event, a 12U USA softball event, and decided, you know what, I'm going to play some Little League here in All-Stars. And that one is smoked to center field. Billy Le Breton underneath it and makes the catch.
That's a big out for Team Canada, knowing that there was power in Braddock's bat. Just got underneath it. Huge swing, but reined in by Le Breton out there in center field.
Abby Robinson strides to the plate. Led the team with a 2,000 OPS in state, and that's a reason why. Smacks that one to center. Godwin scores easily. It's 3-2.
These teams came ready to play. It may be early in the morning, but they are set to swing it. And right now, this middle of the lineup for North Carolina is finding some really good pitches to absolutely tattoo. Another hard shot to the outfield by Robinson. Another run across for North Carolina, now just at a 1-run deficit.
The first inning barrage continues here at the Little League Softball World Series. Now 21 first inning runs have been scored. Scarlett Soto swings away 0-2. First baseman, also a pitcher for this team. So she's a really good pitcher, but it's hard to put her in the circle. She's just so good at first base. Robinson at first after her RBI single. The 0-2. Flare to shallow right field. It's going to drop. Sear trying to make the throw. Does in time. We'll see if they decide to review this. Both coaches looking at each other, shrugging their shoulders. What did you see? What did you see? First base coach talking to Godwin, asking her. And it doesn't appear as though they're going to challenge.
Well, it's in that moment that as a base runner, you have to be able to get off the bag, stay aggressive. I think they could have challenged that and gotten away with that out coming off the board. Definitely a close play. But without the challenge, we now move on.
So fielder's choice there for Serta as Robinson was erased, as she was the one talking to the coaches. Score that one 9-6. And a strikeout to end the inning. Two come in. Canada through the first inning still leads by a run here at the Little League Softball World Series. Game Changer is the official scorekeeping technology partner of the Little League World Series. Coach smarter, connect live and replay the action on Game Changer, the #1 youth sports app. Live the game like never before. If you load up Game Changer, you can follow along here with the live scoring of this game as Puerto Rico in attendance. Got up early to watch this, get ready for their game later on today. 3-2. Canada with the lead. Team from Texas, Southwest Region champs, in attendance as well. That first inning, indicative of what we've experienced so far through the first 3+ games here. 21 of the 36 runs scored in this tournament so far have come in the first inning. Alexa Perron
Ball.
at the plate, 1-0.
I've loved looking through all of the different questionnaires from each of the teams here at the Little League Softball World Series, because so many of them now write as the occupation that they want to be when they grow up as a pro softball player. I mean, just 5 years ago, that wasn't something that any of them were talking about. But now with the emergence of the AUSL, we're seeing just the ability to have that vision of pro softball in these young athletes' eyes.
The 1-1. Did feel bad in that camera cutaway for Elmo over there with the oranges in the dugout. I have to get the story on that. That is.
I mean, you've got quite a few animals. You've got quite a few animals on the fence.
3 straight strikeouts for UTEC.
I mean, you are seeing UTEC now calm down and filling the zone. Look at that curveball, outside corner, really nice spot. And with both pitchers now understanding that the ball cannot be off the plate, they're going to have to really do their due diligence to find the corner, pepper those spots. And now you've got 3 strikeouts in a row going back to last inning.
Cassie Sear held back 1-0. They call her the surprise of the year. Not anticipate her to be as successful as she has been. The 12-year-old playing right field today. 2-0. Made a diving catch in right field and later a game-winning home run in the same game this season.
And that was the moment that she looked back to and said gives her confidence, and just one of those memorable moments that as a young player you have to find those to be able to hold on to as you play this game of failure.
Game of failure, that doesn't sound fun.
No, so get a glove and let's go.
Ready to go fail? Come on, kids, get in the car. We're going to the fields.
I will say it's one of the sports that, because of how much failure there is, you build so much character. You have to figure out and dig down deep how to continue to climb that mountain of how to get better and improve. Just love the way that this game teaches resilience and the ability to find leaders quickly.
Well, UTEC has found the zone here a little bit. Those smaller strike zones can be an advantage for the pitcher or for the hitter as well.
100%. If you can find an umpire that has that small zone, you can be disciplined at the plate and create a situation where a pitcher has to bring the ball into those hittable zones so much more often. And if
that one almost hit Elmo. I mean, Elmo cannot get away from that. That ball was probably a foot away from him. We do not need to see the insides of that animal.
Well, maybe it was the monkey she was going for. I mean, to be fair,
yeah,
or the goat, yeah.
That would have been bad. 2-2 here to Sear. It's 9:37 a.m.
The dad jokes are already hot.
8th pitch of the at-bat here to Sear. Third walk of the game here for UTEC.
And just being able to stay disciplined. I mean, she worked that count. I mean, 8 pitch at bat to be able to stand in there and fight off those pitches that she felt were borderline, and also put the pressure on UTEC to continue to pepper the zone with strikes. Works that walk. Great quality at bat.
Isabella DeShine. Left fielder here for Canada. She did go 0-1. Collects baseball cards, Funko Pops, and squishies.
How many squishies you have, Matt? But
less than them.
I don't know that she expected that to be called a strike. I don't know if she recognizes that the count is now 1-1, because she kind of averted her attention giving up on the pitch, even though the bat did go through the zone on that first pitch. It was kind of a give up.
DeShine squaring. Misses it 1-2. You can see the approach here for Canada, just trying to move runners station to station and put them in scoring position here. But with 1-2, that bunt is off here for DeShine as the corners move back. Swing and a miss. UTEC has struck out 4 of the last 5 batters.
And if these hitters for Canada can show discipline on that pitch up and out of the zone, it has not been a strike in this game, but they continue to swing at that pitch up and away. And with that, you're right, Matt, 4th strikeout of the day for UTEC.
Sophie Lemieux now with 2 outs and 1 on. That one misses low. Lemieux, 11 years old, one of the youngest players on the team as we look at UTEC. UTEC overcoming that first inning here, and what a victory a scoreless second inning would be.
I think the difference you're seeing is here at the bottom of the lineup, these Canada hitters a little bit more free swinging, and with that, UTEC doesn't have to be as tight to the zone. She can continue to dance around and get that swing and miss for her advantage.
Ball.
Sophie Lemieux, youngest on the team, but also the tallest. Sophie was proud to share that info with us in there for a strike, 2-2.
And that's the pitch she has to get the bat off of her shoulder on and tattoo that ball to the outfield. Inside, belt high, beautiful spot.
That one to the third baseman. Chloe Braddock right into the glove, and a scoreless second inning for UTEC and North Carolina. North Carolina clawing their way back into this one. Apologies to the production truck. 3-2.
Geico.
Athletes Unlimited at the Little League Softball World Series.
Makeup of a superstar.
Look at that play!
The Little Leaguers will be in the stands.
They're so excited to see us, and we're excited to see them.
They dream of being me, and I was once them.
AUSL Pro Game coming your way Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN2. And speaking of the pros, North Carolina able to throw out the first pitch with the Carolina Blaze.
And Anna Gold pictured there on the right, a golden ticket recipient last season. The Blaze had a very successful year. Carlin Pickens, one of these athletes' favorite players, was also on the Blaze this last year. The success of AUSL has just given these players so much to dream for, and the success of the league, excited to see where it's going. Now 6 teams, with the Utah Talons coming away with the championship just a week ago.
Are you over that?
Not yet.
Okay, because you keep talking about it. I don't know if that's therapeutic for you.
No, I'm the general manager for the Bandits. We came in second for the second time in a row.
Peyton Bustamante at the plate here with a 1-0 count. And right back up the box and through. Bustamante, coaches say, just hits missile line drives. How about that one to start out the second?
I think it's really important in this moment to not try to do too much. And so this hard ground ball right back up the middle shows that she's staying on top of the ball. And it's so sharply hit that Artie out there in the circle can't even get a glove on it. Nice hard hit back up the middle to start off the inning.
And now the belle of the ball, Belle Cox. At the plate. They call her Wild Bill because of her strong southern accent. Says when her mom gets mad, she talks in a country accent and calls her Bill. And the coaches added the Wild Bill.
And one of my favorite things about it, they say she's so quick-witted. So I think the two of you would get along, Matt.
Meet up with her after the game and we'll talk about our comedic wares. Bell, that one hit her. She might be thinking about saying something in the country twang as she heads to first base. 2 on now. And nobody out.
That's just a difficult spot to get hit. Not a lot of padding in that part of your leg. So while she moved her leg, she moved the wrong one. She'll take off down to first base. And in these situations, North Carolina continues to just put people in motion.
She's playing back. I may call for a bump for a hit. All right, let's put some pressure on them, see if they can play softball like we can. Okay, have fun.
I think the consistent message from every coach that we've heard talk to his players is have fun. And I wonder what that means, because pressure sometimes can get to you and fun is not necessarily the word that you're thinking in that moment. But this game truly is a blessing. And it's, if you can play with joy, you play a whole lot more free.
Well, the corners are playing in, so they're not calling bunt for a hit. This one skied to right. Sear makes the catch. Almost on top of her head. The runners have to scurry back to their respective bases, and a big first out. They just kind of smiling there, almost hit the glitter on her hair, but she's able to make that snag.
There is a lot of glitter on this Canadian team, and it's not little glitter. We're not talking about fine dust. These are big speckles that you hope don't get in anybody's eye.
Annalyn Clark inside. North Carolina 2 for 4 so far today with runners in scoring position. Annalyn Clark again to right. Sear getting a bunch of action off of her glove. Runners had to hold on the catch, but rounding third and scoring the tying run is Bustamante.
I mean, the right side of the field continues to get worn out. These balls high in the air are challenging Cassie Sear out there in right field. So hands are staying in front of the barrel, driving the ball the other way. And when you've got a runner on second base, hitting behind the runner is a great way to be able to move those runners. But with the miscue out there in right, it gives a chance to tie this ball game up.
So Annalyn Clark, she was ready to head to second base, but Belle Cox had to wait to make sure she didn't get doubled off if there was a catch. They were within a few feet of each other. Well, we're tied at 3 here in the second inning, and the pitcher, Catherine Utek, at the plate. Again, a North Carolina team that had not trailed at all, had not allowed a run in districts or state. Was down 3-0 in this game, have tied it up. And Utek looks at a ball that is just off the plate.
Yeah, it's definitely a tight zone here today, but I've seen it be pretty consistent, which is exactly what you need as a hitter at the plate.
That can be frustrating for a pitcher because you've got to put it on a platter and serve it up here for these batters. When you've got talented hitters, their strike zone and hitting zone is small. That one flared to the second baseman, bounces in front, and that will be an out at second base. Ross Bouchard making the catch, and as Annalyn Clark runs over her, that's an out.
Well, and she didn't make the catch, but she definitely caught a runner. And in that situation, the tag was applied, but I think she didn't mean to do it in such a unique way.
So the ball did hit the ground, so Cox goes to third on the play. And Utek is at first, but they'd have a pinch runner. So I believe that's Emma Riccio who would be No, that's Bill Cox. And a pinch runner here.
That should be Annalyn Clark.
Yes.
Who was just tagged out,
That's right.
going to second base. And so Annalyn Clark, because she's the last recorded out, comes in to run for the pitcher who is on first base. And with 2 outs, you get that courtesy runner. So she's going to try this again and maybe avoid Ross Bouchard out there, this time going to second.
Courtesy runner for North Carolina at first base, number 6, Annalyn Clark. And the batter, number 7, Campbell Swearingen.
Campbell Swearingen, center fielder at the plate. Favorite athlete, Bo Jackson. Good to see the young athletes still honoring the past. Bunt shown. They're going to throw through, and they don't get it. And the run scores. That's the gamble that you take when you throw down. A good throw likely would have gotten her. But instead, Annalyn Clark in there safely, and it's 4-3 North Carolina. What do you think of the throw down there with 2 outs?
I think it's a risky play, but at the same time, they trust the arm of Pelé back there behind the dish. I mean, there another hard throw down to second base to try to back pick Annalyn Clark at second base. That throw would have been fine, but the short hop made it difficult.
A lot of pitches being thrown here for these first couple of innings. Swearingen, favorite team, Buffalo Bills. I'm a fan of hers. This is our year. We've been saying that for 30 years. That one gets away. Pelé scoops it up, and Swearingen will take second base uncontested.
And it's in these moments you have to find a way to rally the troops together. And Team Canada has wristbands that their head coach talked to us about, how they go to that wristband, they touch it to reset and really refocus themselves after big moments. But I've not seen anyone reference that wristband or that bracelet as of yet. Not a lot of communication going on between the players, and I think that's the key to fixing the momentum in this moment.
Coach Ozzie talking to the team. That's Stefan Puga, one of the assistant coaches, talking to the team.
And because it's one of the assistants, we don't have him mic'd up. So now the conversation a little bit more protected. Not quite sure what the message was, but more than anything, it's just let's get it rolling out and get out of this inning without any more damage being done.
This is the 13-hole hitter, Katie Straub. North Carolina packing 13 players on the 90-minute trip. One and two, and a big pitch coming up from Livia Arden. Glitter in her hair, ball in the glove. Ready for the 1-2. Big strikeout for Canada. But two do come home at North Carolina, where they typically are in the postseason, back in front. Welcome back to the Little League Softball World Series presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. North Carolina retakes the lead. It is 4-3 here as we enter the top of the third inning. And we do have a pitching change in the third. Sophie Catarazzoli is now in the circle.
Yeah, and we knew that there were a lot of pitchers on this team for North Carolina, so he's going to use many of them to be able to settle their nerves, knowing that they're going to have an opportunity to help out this team all tournament long, very deep in the pitching circle.
And Catherine, you took 50 pitches through those 2 innings.
Leading off inning number 3 for Canada. The pitcher, number 8.
And if they win, you could pitch 6 innings in a day. So she would have 4 left today.
Correct. And the only reason that matters today is because this game was supposed to be played last night. And so the winner of this game actually plays again later today, which is a tricky spot to be in because your innings are cumulative over the day, not just in a game. And so if any of their pitchers throw more than 6 innings today, they will not be available to throw tomorrow if they advance.
Olivia Hardy at the plate. Went 2 for 4 in the regional against Alberta, 1 and 2. A lot of players say they want to be professional softball players. She's more of this generation. She says, I want to be a YouTuber/streamer.
Sounds a lot like you.
Yeah. Thanks for blocking the YouTube page. It's swing and a miss there for Artie. And how about Catarazzoli coming in, getting the K?
Love that she is stepping in with dominance from the very beginning, using the top half, really extending up in the zone, getting that nice swing and miss. It seems like she's throwing with a little bit more velocity as well.
Ava Benoit with her heels on the, really hitting the outside of the chalk. The 12-year-old with the 1-0. And her highlight, first career grand slam that she hit this season, and also pitched throughout a rainy weekend at the Canadian Championship. A bunch of players talking about how there was a sandstorm and what appeared to be a tornado that delayed some of their games along their way to Greenville.
And those are definitely memorable moments, and they are something that can bind you together as a team. Going through difficult times is something that creates conversation and unity within a ball club.
The 1-2 just misses inside. Kinsley Godwin doing a nice job trying to frame those pitches, bring them back in. The 2-2.
Ball.
Showing really good discipline on that pitch up. That seems to be the pitch that can get the swing and miss for Team Canada. So the last hitter in the lineup, Benoit, showing good discipline to trying to turn this back over to the top of the lineup.
Catarazzoli. You don't spell it with a K, but you might as well. Back to back.
Back-to-back strikeouts, and doing them in different ways. Last hitter going up in the zone, getting the swing and the miss. Look at that nice 12-6 spin on the drop ball, filling the bottom of the zone and under the barrel of the swing by Benoit.
And that's huge. So you get the 11 and 12 hole hitters out on strikeouts and nobody on as they turn the lineup over to Charlie Ross Bouchard.
Bouchard led off the game with a 4-pitch walk, showed great discipline at the plate as UTEC was trying to find the zone early.
There's Elmo. Now the head back inside the dugout. Ross Bouchard unable to catch up with that as she attempts to slap. Learned to slap hit this season. Trying to put it in play on the 2-1.
That outside corner can be a difficult spot for young slappers to get to, because what happens is in their approach, in their footwork, sometimes they peel off to first base early, which takes away the coverage of the outside part of the plate.
That one off the left shoulder of home plate umpire Keith Ludwig. All of our umpires, volunteers here this week.
So grateful for their service and all the hours that they've put in all season long.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Off speed to second. Parker Mortensen in a 1-2-3 inning here in the third. North Carolina hitting its stride. See if they can hit more softballs next. Olivia Hardy with a couple of strikeouts on 43 pitches, and her last strikeout ended the second inning, and it came after a nice conference there in the circle, and you see the assistant coach there, Puga, trying to say breathe, breathe, just relax, relax, and they were able to do that.
I think that's what it's all about, is making sure that as a coach you come out and give the right energy to your players. You know that their backs are against the wall and they've got a lot of nerves flowing through their systems, and so as a coach your job is to change the mood. Make sure that when you come out you exude confidence and give them a plan to execute, rather than coming out and creating more pressure on these young players.
Repentigny, Quebec. With 92,000 living in Repentigny. 2-0 record entering Greenville after beating Alberta in their regional tournament.
Leading off the bottom of the third for North Carolina, the pitcher, number 3, Sophie Catarazzoli.
And now the top of the order due up here for North Carolina. Catarazzoli walked and scored North Carolina's first run in the first inning. Daughter of the head coach and third base coach, Ben Catarazzoli. What a special moment and week this is for parents and kids.
A lot of these Little League teams are coached by parents, moms, and dads all across the country, and as they advance into the all-star part of the season, one of those parents typically takes the reins, and it's a lot of pressure on the parents to be able to stay consistent and give the positive messages on, because when it's your kid.
Leave that up. You ain't swinging at that 2-0 anyway, okay? Leave it up here.
When it's your kid, you feel that added pressure, especially here between father and daughter. doesn't want her swinging away, wants her to slap.
Hey, we got to get on top of the ball.
Always a consistent message. Get on top of that ball, put it on play, put it on the ground, hit a line drive. That one can't get on top of ones out of the zone like that. And a well-earned walk there for Catarazzoli. Little League is the most trusted youth sports organization in the world, keeping baseball and softball accessible for all kids. But its real power comes from you. Help us rally for Little League by texting RALLY to 345-345 today. Standard messaging rates do apply.
Ball.
So the pitcher walks, and her catcher now at the plate.
This is the part of the lineup that did a lot of damage early on. Catarazzoli back-to-back walks in each of her plate appearances, and now the power at the plate.
Oh, and it hits the chest of Collar. And all the runners stop, and the coaches run out to check on her. That was a hard hit ball from Godwin.
And luckily wearing that mask that protected her face, and while that was a hard shot and she's definitely shaken up, grateful that that mask protected her face.
Looked like it just missed the glove. These are just 60-foot bases, and players, especially on the corners and at third base, playing in front of that bag. Minimal reaction time when a right-handed batter hits it to what they always call the hot corner. Going to loosen her up here, drying the eyes. That's great to see.
Scary moment for sure for Olivia Collar over there at third base. Hard line drive off the bat of Kinsley Godwin.
You saw the parent there saying, yeah, face mask. And look at Collar. I mean, she is right up there again. No fear.
I mean, even after getting that hard shot at third base, Olivia Collar still playing in front of the bag, challenging this big hitter for North Carolina.
Chloe Braddock.
Ball.
Carries a big stick. Again, qualified for a USA softball event and chose to smile here in Greenville and come here for the Little League Softball World Series. And that one is smacked to center field, and that one will drop in front of Lebre. Todd, and it gets by her in center field. Catarazzoli scores. Godwin will score. And it is 6-3, and a collision at the plate. A hard collision as Godwin runs into Pelé. And back-to-back plays with two Canadian players getting hurt, and she just got trucked at the plate.
And it was not a dirty play as Godwin turned third. The throw coming into the catcher, Pelé, pulled her right into the runner advancing from third, and so was not an intentional collision. Just one of the things that happens in our game, but the catcher definitely took the brunt of that impact.
So we saw Collar and now Pelé. One hit with a baseball, one hit with a softball to the chest, and one hit by a runner to the chest. We just got, hopefully, just got the wind knocked out of her. But that throw did take her right into the path of Kinsley Godwin. who scored the 6th run of the game. And Pelé rises to her feet.
Great sign of sportsmanship as the North Carolina players give her a side hug and check on her to make sure that they understand that that was not intentional. But a huge hit out to the outfield with the runner in scoring position. Got by the outfielder Le Breton, and with that, runners completely ready to score. It's the throw that pulls the catcher into the advancing base runner Godwin. Chest impact with the knee. Luckily, wearing that chest protector did give her a little bit of cushion, but not a lot. That was a really violent collision.
A knee to the chest as Godwin afterwards collected herself and made sure she put the hand on the plate. We also saw Coach Catarazzoli checking in on the third baseman, Pilar, during that while they were tending to Pelé at the plate. Meanwhile, North Carolina has scored 2 in this inning. Scoreboard 2 runs in each of the first 3 innings. Scored a double for Braddock.
Ball.
Double and then a base on the throw. As Abby Robinson trying to drive her in. Still nobody out here in the 3rd inning.
This part of the lineup is absolutely difficult to attack as a defense because they swing with so much power and they've got a lot of speed on the base paths as well.
And this one to right center field, and that will find the green. Robinson into second base. Braddock scores 7-3 North Carolina.
3 hits in a row and back-to-back doubles for North Carolina. They are putting power into these swings, and you're sitting right in the heart of the lineup with really powerful bats. Robinson, they call her the silent assassin because she's soft-spoken, but she carries that big bat. And with that, I think we'll see a change in the circle.
So Artie is out. We'll tell you about the new pitcher coming in, Ava Benoit, here for Canada. Fulminated landing. North Carolina with a 7-3 lead. They've put 3 runs across here after trailing 3-0. 7 unanswered. Ava Benoit trying to answer the bell here. Still nobody out. What do we expect to see from her in the circle?
She's going to throw upper 40s. She's 47 to 50 miles an hour, so a little bit slower than what Artie was throwing, and she'll throw the fastball, curveball, and changeup. So far has not really been able to pepper the zone with strikes in her warm-up pitches, and so she's going to need to settle in quickly to be able to attack these hitters in the lineup.
The first 4 batters have reached base. A walk, a single, and back-to-back doubles. And now the 5-hole hitter, Scarlett Serda. If you look at Livia Hardy, 7 runs, all of them earned in 2 innings of work. Did not record it out here in the 3rd. She responsible for the runner at second base.
I love that special talent. I think most sisters have that talent.
There's no question about it. I have a daughter. She has 3 brothers.
She's working on that skill daily.
She's working on it, although she would say they annoy me. That's their hobby.
Well, she's outnumbered. I'm going to be
is.
on her side.
Yeah, most people are. In there for a strike.
Really good job to just find that bottom of the zone. And that's information that Benoit is going to be able to take into these next pitches, knowing that she can get that bottom of the zone strikeout call. That'll roll some ground balls for this defense, who's had to deal with a ton of hard hits in the air.
That one a ground ball. And Robinson scampers to third. Danger zone here for Canada. A team that has really struggled when they come here to North Carolina for the Little League Softball World Series. They've lost 16 of their last 17 World Series games. Just sort of fouls that one out of play. Their last win over a United States team came back in 2018 when they defeated Tennessee. Since then, they've lost 10 straight games to American teams.
And they started this game so strong with that 3-run top of the first. But this North Carolina offense has been relentless.
A lot of smiles. The North Carolina dugout. Very talented group that outscored the opposition 93-0 in districts and state. And that one smacked to the shortstop. Nice play there by Puga. Gets the out. And an RBI ground out from Serta.
Really nice play by Puga over there at shortstop. She's one of the shortest and smallest players on this ball club, but not afraid to attack that hard hit ball right at her to get the first out of the inning and try to change the momentum of this team.
Parker Mortensen now at the plate. 1 out and nobody on for Parker. She's been playing since she was 5 years old when she started T-ball. Had a couple of kids who played T-ball, a couple others that just skipped it and went right on to coach pitch. T-ball's I played T-ball. I understand not playing T-ball.
I think there's benefits to both. T-ball definitely teaches you the rules of the game, but it can be really hard to watch.
I don't think anyone gets out in T-ball anymore. I think you're allowed to just get to the base. Everyone scores, everyone has fun. This is the bunt, 2-1.
I mean, where we live in Kentucky, they play Wii ball. So you're playing at 3 years old before T-ball even starts.
And that one through the box. Through the right side, I should say. Mortensen with her first hit of the day.
Exposing that 3-4 hole, not trying to do too much with it, just peppering that ball right through the infield. Inside pitch, turns on it so well to get the barrel there. Not even really a full swing, just able to connect at the right spot. Freezes the first baseman, not moving into that. I think she did potentially have a chance to get that hard ground ball, but it froze her.
Peyton Bustamante busted out with a single in the second inning to lead off the inning. Runner goes in there easily. Ball hits Mortensen in the back. Wiffle ball, she's out in the neighborhood.
You're right. As long as it doesn't hit the head, that's a
right.
wiffle ball out for sure.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that's not a rule in softball.
Although Canada would be ready. They've embraced for contact here this entire inning. Had 2 injuries this inning. It's been a long one here for Team Canada. There's Peyton Bustamante. But a line drive up the middle last inning. 7th batter of the inning for North Carolina.
Ball.
That one is low. Runner goes to third. And Bustamante goes to first base. We mentioned the injuries that Canada has had in this inning. How about this hot shot to Calais right below the mask? And she was okay. And then this smack to center field, and Godwin comes around, and the throw takes the catcher Pele up the line and takes a knee to the chest. Back-to-back plays.
But what you're seeing is great resilience and toughness by these Canadian players, because neither of them came out of the game. Both still playing really good defense.
Bell Cox. Oh, that's a great bunt. That's going to stay fair, and that's an RBI single. That ball just died in the dirt. They're hitting it hard. They're playing small ball. North Carolina can do no wrong.
That ball had eyes to be able to stay inside the line. It absolutely could have gone foul, but stops moving right next to the foul line. Or is it a fair line in this situation? And with nobody covering first base, no play to be made.
Maybe in drier dirt conditions that might have rolled foul, but we have had a ton of rain. Although they do cover this field with a giant tarp.
Kudos to the ground crew that has kept this field playable. I mean, yesterday the skies opened, we saw so much rain, and today the field looks beautiful.
Ball.
There was standing water in left field and center field. And that's why this game was moved to this morning. Just unplayable conditions out here at the field last night.
That one gets by the catcher. Now a 3-0 count.
Hey, take one. Take one.
Just trying to get on base here. Consecutive balls, and now a 3-0 count. Emma Riccio is going to take here and force Benoit to find the zone.
Ball.
The bases are loaded, and if you're looking ahead for the run rule, it is 15 after 3, 10 after 4.
Okay.
And another pitching change here. North Carolina will see their third pitcher of the day.
Fais qu'est-ce que tu sais faire. C'est bon? Pas plus, pas moins.
Sophie Lemieux will come into the circle. Tell you about her next. Little League is here, and professional softball also returning to Greenville, North Carolina for the 2026 AUSL Pro Game presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Set to take place this Wednesday, August 5th. Learn more at littleleague.org/athletesunlimited. Love to see the fans in the stands with a chocolate on the corner of the mouth. They've had a great day, and North Carolina has had a great start to the morning. Despite being down 3-0, they're up 9-3. Now Sophie Lemieux now in the third pitcher of record for Team Canada. That one gets away.
Well, you're talking about chocolate in the corner of her mouth. It's not even 10:30 in the morning yet.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I don't know. Is that the kid version of that? Concession stands are open when the gates are open. Annalyn Clark at the plate, and that one is pounded to right field and in front of Sear. And it gets Byer. 1 run scores, 2 runs score, and now the ball gets by the shortstop Puga. Running into third after the hit is Annalyn Clark, and the base is clear. 12-3.
This North Carolina team has definitely found its rhythm. A huge hit to the right side. Cassie Sear has been busy out there in right field, and with a bunch of runners on, they take advantage. They put pressure on the defense by continuing to stay in motion. And Clark able to head in standing up over there to third base after a nice double.
Call it a 3 RBI double. Clearing the bases. And some laughs being.
The best. We got 1 out.
Trailed 3-0, and Elmo is loving life and living large in the dugout. He's really smiling now.
His head's protected. Legs exposed, but
could do the Elmo impression here, but we're on ESPN2. It's 12-3.
I've been waiting.
I'm calling it a single and an error. The 2 runs batted in. Catherine Utek at the plate, and what could potentially be the run rule run at third. The throwback hits Clark. Again, it's 10 after 4. So if they get to 13 here and hold Canada to no runs in the 4th, the game would end. And now Team Canada is trying to find the strike zone here.
They definitely are, and their bullpen's been busy. There's another arm up in the bullpen warming in case Lemieux needs help.
And Jenny, you think about how critical it is for North Carolina as well. If they can run rule this opponent, having another game later today really opens up what you can do pitching wise.
It does, and for them, that gives them extra innings to play with. A big walk in that situation now puts runners on the corners and the potential to put a runner in motion to try to put some more pressure on the defense. But with Utek starting and Catarizoli throwing in this game, they've got extra innings to throw later in the day if they are needed in game 2.
Campbell Swearingen will assume Utek will be off and running here.
Ball.
She is not. Throw back to third. Got her! What a throw there by Pelé to get Annalyn Clark sneaking off of third.
Well, and your job in that situation is to be a smart base runner. She's not trying to steal home, so there's really no need for her to have to try and get an additional step toward home. Even if this play is challenged, I think in review it's going to be upheld.
Catarizoli had a great look at it. He called safe, but as we looked at the replay, it looked like a pretty good call there by the third base umpire, Eric Carter. That's a critical run here for North Carolina if they have any hopes of ending this game early and saving some of their pitching for later.
You're right, Matt. That is a base running miscue that North Carolina needs to shore up, because even with a big lead here, you've got to be a smarter over there at third base to make sure that you're not getting too far off the bag without the ability to get back.
She's out.
I mean, what a great play by Pelé back behind the dish to recognize the aggression of the runner at third base, and that call's upheld.
And there truly is no reason for Annalyn Clark to be that far off of third base, because the runner at first in Utek was not stealing at the time.
No, it really was just too much aggressiveness over there at third base. And there, one pitch later, she could have advanced and scored. And so very difficult moment for North Carolina.
And those just tuning in say difficult moment for North Carolina. What are you talking about? It's 12-3. Well, if North Carolina wins this game, they'll play again later today because of weather and because of pitching limitations. You cannot pitch more than 6 innings in a day and be eligible to pitch tomorrow. Now, North Carolina has plenty of pitching, but you just want to have as many options available to you.
Ball.
Another walk tonight. It's Major League Baseball. The Rangers host the Giants 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN and streaming on the ESPN app. On ESPN2 and the ESPN app, it's day-long softball. We'll have another game on ESPNU as well later on today. For the boys of summer and the girls of summer taking center stage.
Ball.
Is it boys of summer and girls with game?
I'm going with what you said. 13-hole hitter Katie Straup. We'll see if she's taken all the way here. She is not, and she laces that one under the glove of Collar. Rounding third. Oh, and coming back is the runner Utek, and safe. She might have been able to score there.
You don't need time. Just walk it up. There you go.
I thought she was going to send her, and likely would have been safe as the throw came into third base.
That must have been a verbal call because he was sending her. He did not put up the stop sign. That is a hard hit ball to left field. And she got it in pretty quickly, but it didn't look like they were trying to get the out at home.
Sophie Catarazzoli now. Squaring, pulls it back, sends it to center field, and that one is down. And it gets by the center fielder, Le Breton. This might clear the bases, and it will. North Carolina plates a few more as Catarazzoli comes through again.
That ball was scorched to the outfield. She shows bunt, pulls back, and just laces this ball to the outfield past the center fielder Le Breton. And with that, with the bases juiced, it's off to the races. Everybody coming around. Huge hit.
Oh, and we're running home. And she's safe. Catarazzoli comes in. That ball carried back to Pelé and had to dart back to make that play, but unable to do so in time. And another run scores, and it's a 13-run advantage for North Carolina.
And I think that would be a call that I would challenge as Canada's coaches. I mean, every run counts at this moment to try to prevent the early run rule. And so I thought she might have put the tag down early enough to get the out at home. It was close.
Catarazzoli scores, and it is 16-3. And if you look at the scoreboard is a little deceiving in the third. They just had to wipe it out, and now it's not built for double digits. That's the thing about scoreboards. So it does show like the math is incorrect. It's not. It's 12. That third two is a 12 that have come home this inning.
I mean, and I think it's hard to bat around in Little League, but they've done so this inning.
The 15th batter of the inning.
Ball.
And Godwin walks. So now the game-ending run is at the plate, says the run rule is 15 after 3. Chloe Braddock.
Ball.
Got a 2 RBI double in the third. Just really hits the ball hard. (1-0) to Braddock. This one flared into shallow left field. Coming in to make the play, and a good one is Isabella DeShine. Smile on her face, and that even got a round of applause from the head coach of North Carolina, Ben Catarazzoli. 16-3. North Carolina will try and end it here in the fourth. The Little League Softball World Series is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. Welcome back to the Little League Softball World Series presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Festive seating here in this early going 9 a.m. start time. It is about 10:39 a.m. Eastern time. A 12-run third inning for North Carolina. 12 runs on 8 hits. And they have put themselves in a position to end this game early. 15 after 3, but 10-run lead after 4, and Canada coming up to bat in the top of the fourth inning. A reminder, North Carolina does hold on and win this game. They will face Texas later on today.
Yeah, that's the difference in ending this game early. It takes innings off of their pitching staff. That's the team that they will face later today. They're here trying to figure out how to beat them. Well, they've shown that their bats are ready to go. Are they going to be able to keep them hot? Team Puerto Rico in the house as well.
Get to see them in a little bit. Taking on Japan. Yeah, cool, calm and collected.
Well, logging into Little League, make sure that he's following along.
That's right. Japan and Puerto Rico coming up. Cannot wait for that one.
Leading off the top of the fourth
on ESPN2.
Japan was impressive yesterday in their opener. Excited to see the way that they come out today against Team Puerto Rico.
There we go to Team Canada here in the fourth inning. Olivia Puga at the plate here for Canada. And right back up the box and under the glove of Mortensen at second. Second hit of the day for Team Canada.
Well, and after a really long inning, Olivia Puga comes in and is ready to hit the first pitch. We're seeing a little bit stronger velocity or faster velocity out of the hand of Catarazzoli in the circle, but Puga was ready to go. First pitch.
Now at the plate, Olivia Collard, who that previous inning took a hot shot near the face at third base. She is up there hacking 0-1.
Well, this team has a lot of ground to make up, but I love that they are attacking early, trying to diminish the advantage. They've got to put 4 runs on the board, or this game ends in 3 outs.
The 0-1 from Catarazzoli.
Ball.
Think about this Canada team. Really has become the standard bearer for Canadian Little League softball. 3 straight trips to Greenville. Last year, they had Team Canada had their first World Series victory in years. Coach Ozzie, head coach, coaching third base. Seen the Philippines make it multiple consecutive trips. Now Canada doing it here over the last few years.
They're winning in the headgear department.
They are. Our home and native land is dominating. And a throw down, a little off target. And in there is Puga at second.
Love the aggression of Canada. They may be down by 13 runs, but they are putting pressure on this defense to show up. A 13-run lead means that runner at second base should be inconsequential to the play, but she's definitely messing with them.
Hilaire looks at a called strike 3, 1 away.
So important to swing at those strikes. We saw her ducking under a lot of those pitches by Catarazzoli throughout that at bat, but the drop ball comes right in and she watches it, stands back up, and that is a beautiful spot looking strikeout outside corner.
Third strikeout for Catarazzoli in the circle since she came in the 3rd inning. This just her 2nd inning of work trying to close this out. So back-to-back players here. Hilaire took that hard hit line drive when she was playing third base, and now the catcher, Lena Pelé, who on the very next play was at the center of a collision at home plate during that 12-run inning for North Carolina. Pelé did not strike out, has not struck out all season. She had a 2 RBI double in the first. Oh, and a line drive right back to Catarazzoli.
And Dad, or not Dad, sorry, but Dad looks in. Ben Catarazzoli, I'm sure his heart rate was pretty high on that one. That was completely tattooed right back at Catarazzoli, but look at the cat-like reflexes to protect herself and also catch that ball. Great play, fantastic hit, but even better play made by the pitcher.
And looking to second base. All right, where's my next play? 2 outs now, 1 out away from moving ahead to play Texas later on today. Waved at by Jonette. North Carolina, 1 strike away. You think about this team from Clayton, North Carolina. We've seen some local teams do well here. Pitt County, really been the face of North Carolina softball at the World Series. Won the title 2 years ago. As that ball gets past Godwin. The Johnson County's rise, perhaps an emergence of another powerhouse here within the state, and certainly off to a good start here today.
Pitt County, Rowan County, and now are we seeing Johnson County Little League coming to the forefront of the powerful North Carolina Little League.
The dribbler. And he just wanted that one to go foul, but a good scoop might have gotten the runner. But a run does score for Team Canada. The first run since the 1st inning, and it's 16-4.
Lynn, I think that was a good pickup. Sometimes you want the ball to roll to see if it'll go foul, but that ball, as it was going down the line, was actually coming back in a little bit more fair. So I love the pickup But with the short hop, a little too much to handle over there at first base.
Ball.
And that will be an error on the third baseman, Braddock. It does get home a run. Ground ball off the glove of Catarazzoli. Braddock makes up for it to end the game. A 16-4 dismantling of Canada by North Carolina. And that is a run rule win for this team from Johnston County.
Well, and after a really hot start by Team Canada, putting up 3 runs in the top half of the first inning, North Carolina got rolling, putting up 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second, and a solid 12 runs in the third to get the run rule win and advance to play later on today in the winner's bracket.
They've now outscored the opposition 109-4 from districts, states, and now the Little League Softball World Series as they are off to a 1-0 start. A 16-run, 11-hit performance. Let's take a look at the moment of the game presented by T-Mobile, and there were many moments in that third inning. 15 batters coming to the plate and 12 runs scored.
So much offense. I mean, Godwin, Braddock, Robinson, Mortensen, Cox, Clark, Stroop, and maybe the biggest hit of the day, Catarazzoli, the triple.
North Carolina, yet again, winning their opening round game for the 4th straight time. They advance to face Texas later on tonight on ESPN2 here in this purple bracket. Canada will play tomorrow. Let's welcome in one of the heroes for today, Sophie Catarazzoli, who had that big 3 RBI triple and also finished it off in the circle. Sophie, your team was down 3-0 in that first inning. What was the message, considering it's the first time your team had allowed any runs this postseason?
When we were up to bat, our goal for this game was just get on top of the ball, ground balls, line drive, finding any way to get on base.
Well, and that hard shot back to the circle, those moments can really elevate your heart rate. How were you able to come right back in and throw strikes right after?
Well, a funny thing we say at practice is PFP, which is pitching fielding practice. And we work on that all the time, getting quick reactions, and it just...
Well, it was great. We're watching it again. Cat-like reflexes, as we like to say, right back to you. What is it like to share this week and this moment with your father?
It's great. He helps me in any way he can. I mean, he's a great coach. He corrects us, and yeah.
I got to ask you, we're seeing a shot there, and we've seen it a few times. What's the story with Elmo in the dugout?
So we were at like the opening ceremonies party, and the Canadian team, we were playing volleyball with them, and they go up to the first pitcher, number 8, Catherine Utek. They say, "You look like Elmo," and it became an inside joke where she's Elmo now. So we got a little stuffed animal for the dugout.
We'll take it, and you'll take this win. Sophie, thanks so much for being with us, and congratulations.
Absolutely.
We'll see you later today.
Thank you.
Sophie Catarazzoli with an awesome job. Couple of walks, 3 runs scored, and clearing bases clearing triple. One of many hits that North Carolina had today. That'll do it. Again, our final score, 16-4 for Jenny Dalton Hill. I'm Matt Schick. Little League Softball World Series continues today. Puerto Rico and Japan coming up on ESPN2. See you soon here in Greenville.
This is SportsCenter AM.